The world has fallen into chaos. 4 nations are at war. But even in the darkness, there's always a glimmer of light. And I believe the Avatar can save the world. Greetings, fanboys and fangirls. I'm Erod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster, and this epic saga begins in 2001. When animator Brian Konietzko took an old sketch of a balding middle-aged man and redrew it, reimagining the man as a child herding bison in the sky. He then showed this sketch to his good friend and fellow animator, Michael Dante DiMarino, who was watching a documentary about explorers trapped in the South Pole. This sketch and the documentary started to inspire ideas for a show, as the two of them envisioned their characters drawing power from air and water as they survived in this frigid wasteland. And if they had an antagonist, that antagonist would most certainly draw his power from fire. And the idea started to evolve and grow from there. 2 weeks later, the two of them successfully pitched the idea to Nickelodeon Vice President Eric Coleman, who at the time was looking for shows featuring young heroes having adventures. And the rest, as they say, is history.
The plot.
In an epic ancient world filled with magic and mythology, there are gifted individuals who have the power to control the elements. They are known as benders, a select few that can mystically manipulate either water, earth, fire, or air. But there is only one who has mastery over all 4 elements: the Avatar. One selfless individual who is chosen in every generation to use his or her immense power to maintain peace and balance. But one day, the Avatar vanished. The world became divided into 4 groups: the Fire Nation, the Earth Kingdom, the Water Tribe, and the Air Nomads. And then unfortunately came the day when the Fire Nation attacked, igniting a 100-year war that transformed them into the most powerful and technologically advanced nation in the world. And if their oppression persists, they will eventually be the only nation. But not all hope is lost, as 2 children from the Water Tribe accidentally discovered the Avatar trapped in ice, now reincarnated as a 12-year-old airbender named Aang. The Avatar is the only one who can end the war and restore balance to the world.
Character design and animation.
There is an endless asinine debate as to whether or not this show counts as an anime. My take on this is, who cares? Stop subcategorizing everything and just enjoy the show. The animation was handled by JM Animation, DR Movie, and Moy Animation. And boy, this still remains the most beautiful, impressive, and mind-blowing out of all the Nicktoons. The only show that comes close to matching it is its own spin-off, but that's a story for another day. The characters were designed by the show's co-creator Brian Konietzko himself, taking influence from existing cultures such as Inuit, Chinese, Japanese, and Tibetan. In fact, the bending styles are based on real martial arts. Waterbending is based on Tai Chi, earthbending is based on Hung Gar, firebending on Northern Shaolin, and airbending on Baguazhang. In fact, there are no white people in the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender. They don't exist. So it would be really embarrassing if they made a live-action adaptation and casted Caucasian actors.
That's rough, buddy.
Cast and characters.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of my favorite examples of a show that is populated by classic archetypes, but they are all presented in new and unique ways. And there is no better place to start than with the wise mentor, Uncle Iroh, Firebender, played by Mako Iwamatsu and Greg Baldwin. Yes, the same actor who played one of the most evil characters on television also played one of the most kind-hearted. Sadly, Mako passed away during the production of Season 2 and was replaced by the very talented Greg Baldwin, who is one of the coolest and kindest people I have ever had the pleasure of interacting with, and most definitely embodies the spirit of Iroh. Uncle Iroh is the Obi-Wan of the show, the Merlin. He is the grizzled veteran, there to impart his wisdom and experience to the young heroes. The twist is that, at least in the first season, he is the mentor of the show's main antagonist, whom he subtly and carefully tries to guide onto the right path. He's the good-natured caretaker who always has a trick under his sleeve.
Did I ever tell you how I got the nickname, the Dragon of the West?
Prince Zuko, Firebender, played by Dante Basco. Zuko has the greatest redemption arc in all of fiction. End quote. He starts out as the main antagonist of this series, the disgraced prince looking to restore his honor by performing an impossible task to find the Avatar. His is a journey of pain and discovery that mirrors that of most people trying to figure out who they are. My favorite aspect of the character is that in many ways, he's very similar to Aang. In fact, they are two halves of the same coin. They are both skilled and noble warriors who put immeasurable pressure on themselves because they both feel like they have failed the people that they love and are trying to live up to an impossible standard that the world has set for them. And this is a pressure that will either make them crumble into dust or polish them into diamonds. And honestly, Zuko is the only Wooby I've ever seen that I feel is 100% justified. Before I talk about the main heroes, I have to give props to the R2-D2 and C-3PO of this show, Momo and Appa, played by D. Bradley Baker. Our heroes' trusty companions in transport. More often than not, these two faithful pets make all the difference in the adventures of Team Avatar. It blows my mind that all these weird, crazy animal sounds come out of the face of a living, breathing human being. Sokka, non-bender, played by Jack DeSena. He is the Xander, the Ron of the show. The guy with no special powers, meant to simply be the audience surrogate and delightful comic relief, there to bring levity to the show's more intense and dramatic moments. The character progression of Sokka, however, is my personal favorite, as he starts out as a delightful nincompoop who desperately wants to prove himself as a warrior. But in actuality, his strength lies more in his ingenuity rather than his muscle. He's a magnificent strategist and a brilliant inventor, so much so that eventually the team looks to him for direction.
Why are you all looking at me?
You're the idea guy.
So I'm the only one who can ever come up with a plan? That's a lot of pressure.
Avatar Aang, Airbender, played by Zach Tyler Isaac. Fun fact, Zach started recording Aang's lines when he was the same biological age as the character, and while the rest of the cast recorded their lines in LA, Zach recorded his lines in New York alone, which makes his amazing performance in this show all the more impressive. Aang is one of the most iconic epic heroes in fiction. He is this fun-loving, immature kid with the power of a god, able to level mountains and melt hearts. Like your traditional fantasy hero, Aang doesn't want the power and responsibility that is bestowed upon him. He just wants to be a kid, have fun, and live a carefree life. But sadly, that's not an option for him. Aang is your more traditional, straight-laced, white hat-wearing good guy, like Superman or Samurai Jack. He has a pure heart, and in spite of some abandonment issues, he always puts the well-being of others before his own. Self-sacrifice is never out of the question, and behaving like his enemies is never an option.
You've lost this battle.
Are you crazy? You haven't thrown a single blow!
No, but you have.
What? What is that? I skipped the major character and went straight into talking about Aang? Oh, come on, guys. You know I always save the most important character for last. Katara, Waterbender, played by Mae Whitman. What? You legitimately thought that Aang was the main character of Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Are you kidding? He's just a goofy kid.
He's right.
No. Katara is the secret protagonist. She is the one who goes on the hero's journey. She starts from humble beginnings, finds a magical being, accepts the call, and goes on an epic quest that leads her to become a great hero, who plays a very significant role in the greater conflict. This isn't a theory, it's a fact.
Book 1. Water.
100 years ago, the previous Avatar, a wise firebender named Roku, was betrayed by his best friend, Fire Lord Sozin, and left for dead. But when an Avatar dies, he or she is reincarnated, and so Aang came to be. But due to the fact that Zozen was taking advantage of the Avatar's absence to initiate the war, Aang was going to be rushed into taking up the mantle of the Avatar at the tender age of 12. The pressure was just too much, so Aang ran away, only to get lost in a storm and accidentally end up frozen in ice alongside his trusty sky bison Appa for 100 years. Until the day that Water Tribe siblings Sokka and Katara found him and released him from the ice. Finding the world in turmoil, Aang accepts his destiny and begins his quest to restore balance to the world. But before he does so, he must master bending the other elements, starting with water. So the adventure begins as our three young heroes travel across a dangerous and treacherous world, with Prince Zuko hot on their trail and their destiny on the horizon, as they search the globe for a waterbending master skilled enough to teach Aang. While Zuko is the first antagonist that our heroes encounter, he is not the main villain of Season 1. That would be Admiral Zhao, played by Jason Isaacs. He is one ruthless bastard who will betray, hurt, and kill anyone to get ahead.
Knock out the thief.
This is one of the strongest inaugural seasons to any show ever made. It efficiently establishes the characters and lore, and it hooks you just within a handful of episodes. And if you're not a fan by the finale, you, my friend, just don't have a soul.
Book 2, Earth.
Now that Aang has added waterbending to his arsenal, he must find an earthbending master so he can start learning the next element. There are a couple of new complications though. The whole world now knows that the Avatar is back, and due to his failure to capture Aang during Season 1, both Zuko and Iroh have been stripped of their titles and exiled. So the Fire Lord chooses somebody new to chase after Team Avatar, Princess Azula, Firebender, played by Grey Delisle. Zuko and Zhao are pussycats compared to Azula. She is pure evil. She believes that trust and emotional attachments are signs of weakness, and it is only through fear that one can acquire true power.
Yes! We've defeated you for all time! You will never rise from the ashes of your shame and humiliation!
And on top of all that, Azula's bending is so powerful that her flames come out blue. For those of you who don't know, the blue part of the flame is the hottest. Hell, Azula can even bend lightning. And on top of all that, Azula figures out that a big part of the reason behind the Avatar's success is that he has a really good team backing him up. So Azula puts together a team of her own, comprised of Ty Lee, non-bender, played by Olivia Hack, a bubbly acrobat with a mastery of pressure points.
It's like we're dancing together.
And May, non-bender, played by Cricket Lee, a monotone misanthrope who's deadly with darts and daggers.
I thought when Tylee and I finally caught you guys, it would be more exciting. Oh well, victory is boring.
Also, May is Zuko's girlfriend, and out of all the little romantic subplots in this show, theirs is the only one that I feel any attachment to.
Here, this is for you.
Why would I want that?
I saw it and I thought it was pretty. Don't girls like stuff like this?
Maybe stupid girls.
So now that Azula's team is in place, Team Avatar has two objectives. Not only must they find an earthbending master for Aang, but they must also expand their ranks. And why not kill two birds with one stone? Which leads to the introduction of my favorite character in this show, Toph Bay Fong, Earthbender, played by Michaela Jill Murphy. While traveling through a magical swamp, Aang has a vision of the person who will be his earthbending master, a little girl. While looking for the young maiden, our heroes end up attending a pro earthbending show, where their champion is the Blind Bandit, aka Toph Bay Fong. Toph was born blind, but taught herself to earthbend with the help of badger moles, who are blind and really good at manipulating earth. Toph actually uses bending to see. By sensing the vibration of the earth through her feet, Toph can determine the shape and movements of everything around her. Also, because she is self-taught, her bending style is unique to everyone else's, and is based on southern praying mantis style kung fu. Look, I could sit here and gush about Toph for hours, but at the end of the day, all you need to know is that Toph Beifong is a badass. Season 2 is definitely a worthy sequel to Season 1, raising the stakes and turning up the epic dial to 11. Very much the Empire Strikes Back of the Avatar saga, putting our heroes through hell before they head into their final adventure.
Book 3, Fire.
While Aang has learned water and earth bending, he is yet to find a firebending master. And on top of that, the rebel forces' assault on the Fire Nation on the Day of Black Sun has failed, forcing our heroes to go into hiding. And to make matters worse, Zozen's comet is coming, and when it arrives, it will increase all firebenders' power tenfold, a power that Fire Lord Ozai intends to use to destroy the other nations and take over the world. So Aang has until the end of the summer to master firebending, so he will be powerful enough to face the Fire Lord. But who could possibly be his firebending master?
Hello, Zuko here.
What's a twist? That's right. In spite of Zuko redeeming himself in Season 2 and being accepted back into the Fire Nation, he realizes that he has made a huge mistake, and he can't stand by idly while his father destroys the world. So the disgraced prince defects to Team Avatar, and it is not an easy transition. It takes a lot of work and persistence for Zuko to earn their trust, especially Katara. But he never gives up, and he remains steadfast until he gains their confidence, is allowed to train Aang and regain his honor.
Being part of the group also means being part of group hugs.
There are no more mid-level bosses left, so the main villain of Season 3 is most definitely Fire Lord Ozai, played by Mark freaking Hamill. Oh yeah, and yeah, there's no sugarcoating this. Ozai is a monster. The guy had his father killed. He usurped his brother's right to the throne. He had his wife exiled. He burnt his son's face and disowned him. And now he plans to eradicate billions of people to crown himself king of the world. I know that as an air nomad, Aang doesn't believe in killing, but boy does this guy make a compelling argument to make an exception.
What's wrong with you? If this was the real deal, you'd be shot full of lightning right now.
I'm sorry, but it just didn't feel right.
My favorite aspect of this season is that our heroes brilliantly hide in Fire Nation territory, where nobody would look for them. And there we learn that the people of the Fire Nation are not evil. It's the Fire Lord and his followers who are twisted, racist a-holes. I just think it's beautiful that in this epic adventure show that has several plot lines going on at once, they still took the time to humanize the people that were always perceived as enemies. In the end, it all comes down to our 5 young heroes taking on the Fire Nation, a move that this large, powerful invading force never saw coming. Toph, Sokka, and his girlfriend Zuki make efforts to sabotage the oncoming fleet. Zuko and Katara take on Azula. And of course, all of it builds up to Aang's final confrontation with the Fire Lord. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I can promise you with utmost confidence that you will not be disappointed.
Going! Airbending slice!
Final verdict.
I don't feel comfortable using the following word to refer to most things, especially movies and TV shows, but Avatar: The Last Airbender is a masterpiece. This is an eloquent epic odyssey about loss and friendship and destiny and doing the right thing even when that might not be the easy choice. This show represents everything an animated series should aspire to be. Brilliant storytelling, meaningful social commentary, beautiful animation, magnificent performances, and a classic tale told in a new and innovative way. Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the greatest epics of our time, and it should be held in the same categories as Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. 10 points on the badassitude meter. Practice your bending forms, get yourself a bowl of fire flakes, and give it a watch. Until next time, I'm Erod, and I'm the Blockbuster Buster.
My cabbages!
Sorry.